We're here at the dyno area in Cosworth. I'm going to try and persuade them to let us go full noise. This is a really important day in the T50 journey. So we're here in the dyno and we're going to really hear the voice of this beautiful V12 Cosworth. The guys are just warming it up right now. I'm not sure how high in the RPM range we're going to get. I'm going to see how good my negotiating skills are and see if they let us really hear it today. But right now, just getting everything warmed up. It's amazing the details and how tiny increments the guys are working in and just watching everything like a hawk. Kind of looks like mission control, doesn't it? So what RPM are you running just now?
So we typically fire up at 1500. The car will idle a bit lower than that. Obviously the car will have the sort of integrated starter generator that will essentially replace the dyno in this scenario. That will spin it up to target speed, fuel on when all the cams and plan and pressure are stabilised. That really helps with the emissions, cold start side of things. And then we'll just let it warm up until we're sort of ready for a bit more exciting driving.
Excellent. That's 4,500 RPM. Sounds pretty sweet so far. Looks like the tolerances you guys are dealing in here are tiny. What's the big advantage to using a dyno as opposed to going out and testing it in the back of one of the XP cars?
You've just got more control of all engine parameters. You've got a lot more capability in terms of what you're measuring. Pressures, temperatures, flows of critical coolant, fuel, oil circuits around the engine.
So from this point you go into real world conditions and I sort of drive the car and say, oh, there's a hesitation here or a flat spot here or it does this. Does it then come back here and you guys have a look at the mapping and try and iron that out? How does that situation work?
Yeah, absolutely. So before an engine would even get in the vehicle, we'll have carried out a base calibration that should be fit for purpose as best as possible through all speed, load, operating conditions. If, for example, any scenarios cropped up in vehicle that felt like they needed a bit of modifying or tuning, then at the track or the test ground it can be sort of iteratively improved. But for some things that maybe you can't quite do, you can always feed back data to here, cycles of speed and load and pedal inputs, so you can replay real world scenarios.
And all different types of conditions as well with the dyno, right? You can simulate the altitude, different temperatures, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so we've got control over oil and coolant operating temperatures, engine inlet air temperature, pressure, humidity, so sea level, mountains and the altitude.
Can you simulate the ram effect of the airbox?
Yeah. You can pressurize the inlet as well to represent, flat out down a straight, wherever you want it to be. Whatever option you kind of want to go for, you can represent it here and get that step ahead of in vehicle and understand what it will do.
Ah, nice. So everything we're going to do in the real world, you're going to have done it here pretty much before.
Yeah.
So that was 5,500 RPM. I think the dyno driver needs to work on his throttle blipping a little bit on the downshift. There's that resonance too, which is lovely. Driving this car is like playing a musical instrument, isn't it? Just look at that. So there's still over 6,000 RPM to go to get to the limiter at 12.1. Just this music, it's all these different tones going on in there, and the vibrations and resonance. You hear it yourself. It's just beautiful. Sounds good.
It sure does.
Is there any way, we're here, we've got the cameras here, can we go full noise?
We do have a full speed lap simulation from Le Mans.
And you're comfortable doing it?
Yes.
Let's do it. Sure what to say with that. That is mind-blowing. I mean, incredible. That the noise, the cars coming to life. That's the, we've talked about it. That's the heartbeat of T50. We're starting to see the soul of the car coming out. And if that doesn't make you emotional, I don't know what does. It certainly does me. And that is just quite incredible. And now, of course, my mind's thinking, I've got to drive this car. When can I drive it? And I'm sure all the owners are watching this thinking, right, when can I get my car? It's going to be a fascinating journey, and this is a big step. Wow. That's pretty sporty. That's all right, isn't it? Oh my!
If I'm honest, I jumped when it banged first.
I know it's what happened there. Visualising driving the T50 across somewhere in Scotland with that noise all round you. I mean, that would never, ever get boring. No matter how many times you drove this car, it's sublime noise, and how quickly it revs and how quickly it gets to maximum speed. That's stunning. Well, I said we're going to hear T50's voice. We really did, didn't we? It was more of a roar. What a noise. We now know that it sounds as good as it looks. Cosworth have done a great job. And this is one step closer to me getting behind the wheel of T50 and you being along for the ride.